Hey everybody, it's been a crazy weekend to say the least. We've got things like the trade window coming to a close, and that's kind of taken up everybody's attention. But there's one thing that actually trended on Twitter and put Rocket League and a certain player on the map. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the one and only Kroenovi has officially announced his retirement from the RLCS after so many seasons of trying to keep it alive. Former world champion in the very first season, start BC vet, and everything else. Kroenovi's competitive career has officially come to a completion, which is actually, it's pretty crazy to think about, right? Like, we've been watching Kroenovi as the poster boy of Rocket League esports and just Rocket League in general for a very long time. Despite all the start BC vets that came over and everything else, Kroenovi was the player that a lot of us associated with the growth and the success of this game. I remember the OG days of him being a streamer with 20k views, because like it'd be soda popping and like Summit and then playing the beta, and then there'd be this guy who is just absolutely cracked out of his mind, beating everybody, like so dominant. We did a quiz in like the Jeopardy thing a couple weeks ago in the like the OG RLCS quiz about how like Kroenovi was beating people 9-2 in 1v1s back in the day. Like Kroenovi has had a pretty crazy career, so because of that I wanted to go and kind of give some dedicated love about it, share some like stories that you guys may not know about, and just kind of talk about Kroenovi. It's pretty crazy to see. So with that said, let's jump into the actual tweet. So Kroenovi put out a tweet on January 1st, which is not the best way to start the new year, is seeing like one of your favorite pros be like, I'm retiring. But he put out a tweet saying he's retiring from competitive Rocket League and that there is a TwitLonger. Currently at this point, it has 350 quote tweets, over 14,000 favorites and likes, and like almost 1,000 retweets. It trended on Twitter. Like when a player from Rocket League is trending on a website, that should tell you the impact. You can go through and look at all of these replies, the responses everybody's had, the impact that he's had. Like it's insane to see the general reaction of like how many people were affected by you. And this is not to talk about it like selfishly. Like when I was let go from the RLCS and I put out my tweet, you don't really recognize like the impact you have on people until you take a step back and like actually see it. I'm sure Kroenovi's seeing this, and I think he tweeted about it shortly after about like, I did not expect this response, is something that most people don't really recognize until they do have something like this happen. You don't realize how many people you affect when you kind of take that step back. So taking a look at his TwitLonger, we're going to switch scenes for a sec for you guys here. It says, hey, as my post suggests, I'll no longer be competing in the RLCS. Decision has taken me an incredibly long time to make, etc., and goes through and kind of just reflects on the whole situation, talking about fans saying, hey, I wish you guys did more of this and that, which is crazy. Like even though he's deciding to retire, he goes, hey, I know there's people out there that wish I did more before stopping. But he talks about the realisticness of it, you know, the amount of time and effort that goes into playing and practicing and everything else. It's a grind. It's very tough, and a lot of these obviously new and upcoming players are very talented. So he does plan on going into detail in the rest of this post. I'm not going to go through this entire post just because it is a lot, and there's a lot of reminiscing that goes through it. But he talks about how he does plan to do a couple things. He's going to be ramping up his content on Twitch and YouTube, which is something that I've been wanting for a very long time. I think Kroenovi could have easily had the largest YouTube channel in all of the Rocket League community if he would have stuck with it. But again, choosing to allocate that time and effort into being a pro rather than content is understandable. He wants to be a competitor. He also wants to continue and possibly go into casting/coaching, which I think pro to the broadcast team. I talked about the ability to have Kroenovi and Gibbs on the desk together would be such a special experience. Kroenovi may not have the casting chops. He may not have the like experience that goes into being animated and excited and stuff, but he definitely has the knowledge and he can learn that skill trait. It is called talent for a reason. Talent is something you can learn by process of practice. So I think it'd be awesome to see Kroenovi do that. He also, if you guys don't remember, joined us on the analyst desk for E-League in 2018 at one point, and he was awesome to work with. He's not afraid to say his opinion and provide insight, and he's very well thought out and articulated. You just got to bring that energy in the, you know, the entertainment side of things. So I would love to see Kroenovi on the desk. Psionics, hit him up. This is kind of your dream desk analyst. Just saying. So says it's still 100% his passion to play the game, but no longer really feel rewarded by pro play. So gonna focus on content. Should be fun. He talks about insight as to why he did it and goes back to like the season with Rogue and the off season and ended up going to different teams and all that kind of stuff, and talks a lot about it. Talks about the highs and lows, and this is the stuff I want to focus on. If you track the high and low points of my career going all the way back to 2015, it would look like a roller coaster at Six Flags. Ton of highs and lows. I've always been someone that bounced back no matter how bad things got. The only difference from all those other times and now is that I'd rather move on. I don't see the payout for grinding RLCS the way I used to. More and more, it just stresses me out when the team I'm on doesn't win. I maintain high standards, and the amount of work that goes to meet those standards is better spent elsewhere. I know I can become a great content creator and caster coach if I put time into it. At a crossroads of trying to bounce back for pro play or pursue multiple fun aspects of the Rocket League community. Sorry if I was the player you rooted for in the RLCS, and now you have no one else to root for, but it's my time to move on. And that's, again, it shows the type of person Kroenovi is. Kroenovi was a very special person. I remember in the OG days of Rocket League where he kind of just told it like it was. He was kind of like the villain role. He was a little toxic at the beginning, but like in a good way. Like he just kept it real. Like when the first season of RLCS happened, the Smash and like sign up pages got DDoSed, I'm pretty sure. And it caused for a lot of issues and a lot of disconnects and a lot of issues. And I think Kroenovi ended up coming out and saying like, none of y'all were going to make it anyway. Although it was very, very short-sighted and kind of rude, I was like, he's not wrong. Like, all these people that signed up and stuff, and obviously it's not ideal, but he was just like, yeah, none of y'all are going to make it anyway. And it's like, hell yeah, Kroenovi. Like, tell him how it is, you know? But it's like, you had this figure that from a young age played SARP BC, and we're going to go back and take a look at some of his stuff from his YouTube channel. But like from a very young age was forced into a position to be the biggest name and face of an entire game and esport. He was put into a position to be like, hey man, every single little thing you do, we're going to critique and pay attention to. So he was forced to mature at a very fast rate at a very young age and like transition into this figure of publicity that most people didn't know. I commend what he's done and how he's always carried himself and the cadence that he's brought to when he has conversations, and respect the hell out of him for it. So taking a look at his Wikipedia page, you can see obviously a lot of the results, and things have obviously not gone well as of late. The last time things went really well was probably going to be when he played in season 7, I think it was, when he played with Rogue, when he was top 4. I think that was, yeah, top 4 with Rogue with Wanda and AJ was probably the last time it was like prolific. Obviously still made RLCS and did 6th and did okay there, but other than that, like things have kind of obviously gone downhill, hasn't been in the prolific moments, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, you're talking for since what, 2015, playing with iBuyPower, winning everything. You know, obviously used to be Cosmic Aftershock, Gibbs, Sad Jr., etc., and then became iBuyPower, first signed team. And then after that, the reason why G2 is the name that everybody knows. People forget there was 2 big organizations that came into RLCS early. One was SK Gaming that signed a team that clearly had its problems, and then G2, the first big org to come in and sign an RLCS team, not like a team that was like preemptive to the RLCS, but like the first RLCS team signing was G2. And like they could have waited and picked whoever they wanted, but G2 approached and they're like, yep, that's the offer we want to take. We're going with G2. And set a precedent for the rest of the RLCS, right? Like G2 is a prolific name in Rocket League, and it's because of the namesake that Kroenovi brought, right? So it is incredible that Jesse's willing to Twitch Prime sub. Thank you, sir. But it's also incredible that this is basically what created this storyline from way back all the way in, you know, late 2016. It happened in what, February? Mid-February of 2016? Or not February, yikes, September. I can't do days. So it's insane to me to see the growth that happened with Kroenovi, and then obviously the JNAPs and stuff transition, and then they came in through, he ended up going to Rogue, and like that was in itself like, oh my god, that's insane. And from there, obviously Continuum and all the way through to KCP. So you see obviously the evolution of his career and like where it's gone based on results and stuff, but stuck with it and was competitive for a very long time. So it is awesome to see Kroenovi take that next step. We had the crazy memes of like, yo, I want to be the mountain, and when you get to the top, I'm gonna be the one knocking you back down, and the parody video that Doomsy made, and all the things that happened over the years. But I've been very lucky to get to know Kroenovi at a pretty close level. Not like we're best friends or anything, but I've gotten to interact with him and talk with him directly. We hung out a lot at E-League and stuff. He was one of the first pros that got to come and see the RLCS studio back in the day. Him and Chad. If you guys don't remember, Chad was a sub for Take 3. He ended up coming over to the RLCS scene while we were like on broadcast and hung out with us in the casters and stuff. I think Art came into town from Psionics, and we hung out and got to like hang out and just talk and interact in downtown Burbank. I was telling Chat earlier about a story about how like There was some dude who drove by with his like souped up poop car. It was like a Dodge Neon that put a fart pipe on it and a muffler. And like it was super loud as it drove by. And Chad was like, yo, did you guys hear how big that guy's dick was? And like talking about him compensating and stuff. Super funny. But like moments like that you just don't really get to, like, it's a very special circumstance to go and hang out with someone of Kroenovi's status. Because like I even remember for me when I was a kid, like, and I say kid, I was like 23 at the time, or like 22 or 23 at the time. Like I remember the first time I was casting, and it was Findable Carpet's Pulsar Premier League tournament. It was myself and Leafax that we were casting. We also called it the PPL, or the Poo Poo League, because we love carpet. Back before like Poo Poo PP esports was a thing, but we called PPL Poo Poo League, and it was Vex, which was Garrett G, Turtle, and I think J-Raw potentially at the time. If not, it was Moses. We saw at that time iBuyPower join, and it was the match. And like for me, I think I still have a screenshot of that lobby, because the prolific names that were in that lobby. And what was crazy is Gibbs had just retired, and they brought in, but because I think one of their players couldn't make it, I think it was when Gambit was trying to like debate what he wanted to do, Gibbs also played in that lobby. So it was like Kroenovi, Gibbs, Sad Jr., Turtle, Garrett, like all these people that I was like, this is insane. Like I'm in the same lobby as these people. And like now I look at Gibbs and I go, you're an idiot, you know? And like I've babysat his kids pretty much. Like it's crazy to see the transitions, and like I don't know, man. It's unbelievable to see how it's gone. But like those are like the moments that you remember from like the OG days of Rocket League, and like you look at now the ability to like get to know those people. So the last thing I kind of want to do is go back and look at some of this OG stuff, and see like how long ago this was. Like if you're looking at Kroenovi's YouTube channel, right? I don't think you guys realize, like actually 11 years ago, in Start BC, the predecessor of the game, Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars. This is the stuff he was doing in a game where like peer-to-peer servers and terrible issues and like all that kind of stuff. It's insane going back and looking at it. And like we now jump years in the future, and we get his first Rocket League 7 years ago. This is like old school alpha footage of Rocket League. Back when bullet hits were a thing. And he was still doing this. This was the kind of stuff he was doing before the game even came out. Like, what? This is the kind of things that, like, created, like, okay, this is his first mini-Taj. First mini-Taj from Kroenovi. This is insane. Oh, my God. Like, think about how long ago this was that he was doing this stuff. The game's not even officially out yet. Back when Kroenovi went by Steve Bills, which was his dad's name. If you guys don't know, Kroenovi used to go under his dad's name because he wasn't old enough to, like, have it his own account. Bullet hits back in the day. Back when you got points for certain things like centering and aerials and stuff. But if you hit the ball with enough power under Supersonic, it would, like, give it increased speed and call it a bullet hit. And they had to remove it because it was so OP. And, like, so many things have changed since then. And you're going to see a bunch of names in these, too, like, people that you may not remember, like Bipod and like Cool Cole, obviously. Now with the Subpar and HD guys is in these, and like obviously Gibbs and everything. Yep. DeBoer. The developers used to play against these guys all the time too. It's like having a half heat seeker mechanic in ARMS. Yeah, it's insane. Like seeing the growth of the game. And you just see this evolution through his channel too. Like, you guys want to take a trip down memory lane, go to Kroenovi's YouTube and go back to the beginning and just look at, like, so this is what, 7 years ago? Let's go like 6 years ago. This is a Rocket League Beta 2 montage. Yeah, I remember this one. So this is back when I was about to start playing. It was like just outside of beta. And you can see the game looks a little bit more polished. You can see like the goals and stuff are a little bit cleaner, but like the game isn't even out yet. And he's hitting things like he could aerial and actually hit the ball. And like some of the things in the montage are him just jumping off the wall and hitting it. Oh yeah, flip resets weren't a thing because you couldn't. The transparent goal posts weren't a thing yet. Like some of the updates that came out. Yeah, who needs air roll when you can just fly sideways? Early looks at like half flips and some of the like, again, this is like where it all originated. I remember when I was playing in the very beginning days of Rocket League, like preseason season 1, back when ranked was god tier. And like, I remember basically what it was, because I was actually considered okay at the game back then. I was like top 50 in 1v1s, and I would grind the 1v1 ladder, and I would get to a point where I was in the top 10, and then I would end up queuing into Kroenovi. I would get clapped like 13-2, lose all that MMR, and then grind back up to it. Get clapped by Kroenovi, lose all the MMR, grind back, clap by Kroenovi. And it was just, that was my weekly routine. That's all it was. That's all it was. All it was me getting smacked by Kroenovi in front of like 5-6K viewers. But it's like, you looked forward to that game because it was such a different skill gap that like you saved every single one of those replays because there was no one else doing the stuff that he was. It's insane, dude. It's absolutely insane. But like, dude, like some of this stuff is just, so what? This is 7 years ago. Okay. VQ Untether, the OG with like Pluto and Lachinio and stuff. Gosh. Dig Dog tournament. High level 1v1s. All the old I Buy Power matches from Pro League. Gosh. Oh yeah, Kroenovi and Overzero used to like room together. Gosh, man. Great system. Highlights. Okay, let's jump like start of RLCS. Stream highlights from Kroenovi. When they got signed by G2. Neo Tokyo actually being a game mode that you would play. Like he always took the time to answer questions for people and like well thought out answers. Oh yeah, the origin of Baka's mod. God, it's legitimately a trip down memory lane. For anybody who doesn't know, go check out Kroenovi's YouTube. Go hit subscribe. Get ready for the new content, but go watch some of his old videos. It's legitimately a trip down Rocket League of like what it was like in the OG days. Playing with Breakout. Gosh, man.
Oh, the team play. Oh.
Gosh, man. It's wild, dude. It's wild. So with that said, chat, I could do that and spend so much time and hours doing that, but season 1 world champ to now. A massive congratulations to Kroenovi in his career. I'm really looking forward to what the next step is, what he's going to be doing in his career. If he does casting, if we see him on the desk, hopefully guest spots here and there. I would love to see, you know, any sort of capacity where Kroenovi is involved in the esports scene and what unique content he's going to do. The training wheels are off, chat, for his content. He has all the time in the world to decide what he wants to do and focus and have fun and take a different approach. Because we've seen Kroenovi as the pro. We've seen him be a competitor. We've seen him put in all the time and effort into becoming the best of possible he could. But we have yet to see him allocate time into those other facets at a dedicated approach. So I'm really looking forward to it. But man, I think it's awesome. It's a career that, unfortunately, again, we're talking about new eras. Kroenovi's retiring. Gimmick and Torment are no longer playing together. Like, we're seeing that transition, and it's only going to keep happening. So one of the most OG people in the Rocket League scene officially retired. Shout outs to Kroenovi and his career and the thing he's accomplished. But man, I do encourage, go support the man, his content, his next step in his career, and I'm excited to see what happens next. All right, chat, that's gonna do it for today's video. I'm gonna go probably deep dive some Kroenovi videos here in a bit, but if you guys do enjoy the content, if you guys got some nice words you have for Kroenovi, let me know in the comments down below. Claps in chat as always. Massive round of applause to the man, the myth, the legend, Kroenovi. Super proud of him and the things he does. But that is gonna do it for today's video. If you guys do enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, notifications, and we will see you in the next one.